Before we dive in, if you're loving this kind of Insider Commanders content, hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already, and ring that bell so you never miss a move from Washington's front office or the locker room. Let's get into it. Let's be real, Commanders fans. The 2025 NFL Draft came and went with some major highlights, bringing in Josh Connolly Jr. to fortify the offensive line, and snagging shutdown cornerback Mike Amos in round 2. But one issue continues to loom large. Where is our edge rusher? Despite all the positives, the glaring absence of a true, versatile pass rusher was hard to ignore. And in a Dan Quinn defense, that's not just a hole, that's a crater. Quinn's entire scheme hinges on having that hybrid rusher, someone who can beat tackles off the edge, stunt inside, and cause chaos from a stand-up or hand-in-the-dirt stance. Right now, we simply don't have that guy. Not on the level Quinn needs. Enter Zadarius Smith, 3-time Pro Bowler, 69-point ISO. Career sacks. A guy who still had 9 sacks and 60 pressures in 2024. Ranking top 20 in both categories, he's the last best chance for Washington to fix this defensive void before minicamp kicks off. Smith has proven time and again that he's not just a straight line rusher. This man is a chess piece. He can line up as a wide 9, drop to a 4-eye, or even shade a center and win with quickness or power. His 0.889 second get-off in 2024 is still around league average, and he racked up 16 quick pressures, showing he can still beat tackles before the QB hits his back foot. This is exactly what Dan Quinn needs to turn pressure into panic for opposing quarterbacks. So what's the holdup? 2 words: the money. Smith has always prioritized getting paid. He walked away from a deal with the Ravens in 2022 because it wasn't enough, even after a handshake agreement. And the Commanders? Historically stingy at this spot. Last year, they wouldn't even match $6 million for Dante Fowler Jr. They got 10.5 sacks from him for just $3.25 million, then let him walk. It's a pattern. But now, the market has dried up. Smith isn't going to get a blockbuster deal this late in free agency. And with Washington holding over $26 million in cap space, the opportunity is there for Adam Peters to swoop in and make a calculated win-now move. The question is, will he? If Washington passes on Smith, there's really no plan B. The draft didn't deliver a day one edge. The veterans left on the market are either washed or one-dimensional. And putting that pressure on young guys like KJ Henry or Andre Jones Jr. feels optimistic at best. Let's call it what it is. Zadarius Smith is the only proven, versatile pass rusher available who fits this scheme and timeline. If the Commanders roll into training camp without shoring up that position, it won't just be a missed opportunity. It could be the move we look back on in November, when opposing QBs have all day to throw. Now, while the edge rusher saga unfolds, let's pivot to a totally different but equally fascinating move. Adam Peters just made history at the kicker position. Yes, you heard that right. The Commanders signed Matt Gay, the former Rams and Colts kicker, to a 1-year deal worth $4.25 million, fully guaranteed. That's the largest guarantee ever given to a kicker in NFL history. This wasn't just about bringing in a new leg. This was about commanding stability, about removing a lingering question mark that's cost this franchise games in recent years. Zane Gonzalez? Gone. Brandon McManus? Didn't last. Austin Seibert? Flashed, then faded. The Commanders haven't had a consistent, confident presence at kicker in years. Gay changes that. Gay owns an 85.5% field goal conversion rate and has hit over 96% of extra points in his career. But it's not just about numbers. It's the trust. He's kicked in high-pressure moments. He's been to the Pro Bowl. He's won a Super Bowl. And while he struggled from 50-plus yards last year, just 3 of 9, his overall resume is rock solid. More importantly, he has the leg strength and mechanics to bounce back. Let's not overlook how important this is for a young team, especially one led by rookie quarterback Jaden Daniels. Being able to finish drives with 3 points, then coming up empty could change the outcome of close games this fall. This offseason is telling us a lot about Adam Peters' philosophy. He's not just going after shiny names. He's building a locker room, piece by piece, with a purpose. Whether it's trading for Laramie Tunsil to protect Jaden Daniels, bringing in Martian Lattimore to lock down one side of the field, or now signing a record-breaking kicker, everything has intent. But Peters also knows when to be bold. And if he wants this defense to play like a Dan Quinn unit, fast, aggressive, unpredictable, then signing Zadarius Smith might be the final stroke of genius to cap off a sneaky good offseason. Let's start with the big headline. On Monday, Commanders owner Josh Harris, DC Mayor Muriel Bowser, and NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell made it official. The Washington Commanders are returning to RFK Stadium, with construction set to begin in full 2026 and kickoff targeted for 2030. Now, for those of you who remember, or even if you've just seen the highlights, RFK was electric. From 1961 to 1996, the stadium was a fortress. The seats literally bounced from the roar of the crowd. You didn't walk into RFK, you were welcomed into war. It was loud, it was nasty, it was personal. Opposing teams hated playing there, and for a generation of fans, it was home. This move isn't just about upgrading facilities. This is about restoring soul. This is about giving this franchise and this fan base a true home field advantage again. Let's talk timing. This announcement comes at a perfect moment. GM Adam Peters has just engineered one of the boldest offseasons in franchise history. Jaden Daniels is the new face of the team. Laramie Tunsil has arrived to protect him. Deebo Samuel adds firepower. Dan Quinn is installing his identity across the locker room. And now, the Commanders just locked in their future headquarters. This stadium is more than concrete and steel. It's a symbol. It says to the rest of the league, Washington is all in. Ownership is finally aligned with football operations. There's a vision. There's long-term thinking. And players across the league are going to notice that. You think free agents want to sign in a place where sewage leaks from the ceiling? Where the barriers collapse on players? Not anymore. A new stadium in DC, especially one with this kind of heritage, changes the conversation. This will attract talent. All right, let's break down the numbers. And they're actually surprisingly good for taxpayers. This project will cost about $4 billion total. Of that, $2.7 billion will come from the Commanders themselves. The remaining, $147 billion will come from public funds. Now before you panic, that's only about 24% publicly funded. Compare that to the Tennessee Titans, where 60% of the stadium costs are on the public's tab. This deal is actually one of the most team-funded stadium projects in recent memory. Josh Harris made it clear he wasn't going to fleece taxpayers. He's a DC native. He knows the tension. This wasn't just about building a flashy venue. It was about rebuilding trust with the community. Harris didn't mince words. He said, quote, "Without exaggeration, this will be the best stadium in the country when it's built. And if you know Harris, you know he doesn't throw that kind of statement around lightly. What we're hearing is that the new RFK will be more than just a football stadium. Think open concept concourses, DC-inspired architecture, premium tailgating areas, a concert venue, and even a Commander's Hall of Fame on site. Harris is building something iconic, not just for the franchise, but for the city. And yes, this opens the door to a potential Super Bowl in DC. That's the long game here. You put a retractable roof on it, you build the infrastructure around it, and all of a sudden, DC becomes a real contender to host the biggest sporting event in the world. Now let's talk about what this new stadium replaces. The much maligned Northwest Stadium in Landover. Look, fans don't need a reminder. The videos speak for themselves. Barriers collapsing on Jalen Hurts, sewage water leaking into stands, dead zones for cell reception, endless parking lot walks in the rain. It was a running joke, a punchline in league circles. Even with some minor upgrades like a new sound system in 2023, it was a band-aid on a bullet wound. There was no fixing the vibe there. The place was cold, corporate, and disconnected from the city. This move to RFK fixes that. You bring football back inside the Beltway, back to a place fans can reach without needing a car, back to where the heartbeat of the fan base really is. So here's where we are. Commanders fans. We've built the offensive line. We've fortified the secondary. We finally solved the kicker puzzle. But the pass rush? That one puzzle piece is still missing. Zadarius Smith checks every box. The fit is there. The need is urgent. The cap space is available. All that's left is the green light. Let me throw it to you. Should Adam Peters go all in on Zadarius Smith? Or would you rather keep that cap space flexible heading into camp? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We read every single one. And while you're at it, smash that like button if you want Smith in burgundy and gold. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a beat from the locker room to the front office. This is Commanders HQ, and we're just getting started.